State of Origin Day, and we are back with Last Minute Madness. Now, no Bergs this week, guys. We've got a special guest today. I thought I'd bring in a bit of Queensland bias for this week. Welcome back, Ted from SwiftX. How you doing, mate?
Thank you, Dan. Yeah, very well. I think it's only fair to have a Queenslander on the show, given it's Origin 3 nights. But Dan, have to call out. It's your birthday. I don't think you're going to get the present you're after the game tonight. But nonetheless, happy birthday.
I mean, you lads are taking me to the game, so that's enough of a gift.
Yeah,
but,
I guess the result in itself I'm referring to. Not going to go your way. Hopefully.
You're back in Queensland then.
Got to, mate. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've made the trip down from Brizzy, for this podcast as my number one priority. Game second. But look, only one of these teams tonight has only one of these teams gets Origin, and those are the boys Maroon. So, got to back my boys. On paper, it might be, a bit of a one-sided affair, but yeah, as I said, Queensland spirit will get us over the line.
You're rambling on about that Queensland spirit before, too. It's absolutely nauseating. I'm going to have to go puke after this.
Mate, my missus is a Blues supporter, and every time, Queensland win, I just, get into bed and start, you just guys don't get you don't get Origin. And, and she hates it. And then when we lose, you go silent for a week. So,
yeah. Well, this is coming out after Origin, so I'm going to make a claim here. And if I get this wrong, anyone can roast me. I'm going Blues 38-10. I think we pound you guys into the earth, and I think it's a party tonight.
Yeah. Look, no, not my prediction. Look, I'm taking a Queensland win. I don't care what the score is. But I'm calling Cam Munster for Wally Lewis medal, given, everything that's happened around this week. I just think, the storyline's there for a huge performance. So that's my big prediction. But yeah, I'll take a win, no matter how gritty or messy it is.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. Let us know in the comments if we got that wrong or right, because this is coming out after Origin, man. So we've taken a gamble here. I may not release it if the Blues lose, by the way.
Cancel.
Yeah. But let's rip into the games this week. So we're going to work through Friday through to Sunday here. And the first game of the round is 8 p.m. on Friday. So nothing on Thursday, nothing on Friday at 6 p.m. Got the Sharks v. the Dolphins here. Big matchup here. Both teams really fighting to legitimize themselves as potential premiership contenders, because they're kind of in that fringe area where they have some cracker games and they have some absolutely rubbish ones. Who are you backing in this one?
Mate, I got to go with the Queensland boys. I'm a Broncos man at heart, but, the second team's got to be the Dolphins. Like, what is it, their second year or third year?
Yeah, they've been around.
And, they're top 8 and they're looking good. I'm just I'm holding on to hope that they make the finals. So, got to back them. Katoa's looking good as well. So, what about yourself?
Yeah, Katoa, future Blues immortal, by the way.
Yeah, no, that's
what
not
a legend.
Good. Yeah.
I've got the Sharks, man. I think the forward pack will be too strong in this one. I think Adam Fanua-Blake has a big one. And for all the fantasy owners out there, I think Nico Hines is finally going to start that surge into the end of the year. He's going to absolutely spike up. So I'm back in the Sharks. I think maybe 13 plus.
I think Nico's due for a bit of a confidence boost as well. So, we'll see what happens.
Yep. Now, rolling through, we got the Knights and the Storm up next, and Newcastle sort of wallowing down the bottom. Missing Kalen Ponga, missing Fletcher Sharp, up against the Storm, who have been flying recently, but coming out of Origin, you don't know what's going to happen there. I'll throw to you first. Well, what do you think of the tips?
This is going to be my big pick of the week, so I'm going the Knights. I just think there's too many caveats there for just the Storm to roll on through. The Knights have the home game, coming off a bye, coming off a close loss to the Raiders as well. I think Munster will be out. I think a few Storm players will be out. So, I just got to pick a juicy tip. So I'm going the Knights, and I am not confident.
I see they've had some big wins against the Storm in the past. Like, there have been some shootout games where the Storm love to get into the battle with teams like the Knights, the Titans, the Eels, that kind of thing. So I don't think it's as crazy as it sounds, but at the same time, I will never ever tip the Knights again this year. Like, I'm just not going to do it. I reckon I'll get off. Maybe they'll win 2 games for the rest of the year. So
they've had a rubbish year, haven't they?
Yeah, and I think Storm, even with Wishart coming in, they got some other guys who can step up as well. I think they'll be fine. So
is it? Just like looking forward to next year, is Dylan Brown going to make the difference? Or
I'm a Para fan, so I'm biased to say no. I think they're interesting though. That left edge, if you throw Dylan Brown in there, you got Kalen Ponga coming out the back, Lucas, Bradman Best, Greg Marzu. Like, that's lethal, in theory, but.
They got to make it work though, because if it doesn't, it's like what happens then? They've just spent
10 years.
They've just gone for broke on Brown. Kalen Ponga's probably going to leave after that. I hope don't offend any Knights fans on here, but they need that next year.
You bring Fletcher Sharp into fullback though, so not the worst if that does happen. And rolling into Saturday, 5:30 p.m. We got the Dragons v the Roosters here. Roosters fresh off getting pounded by the Tigers, but missing half of their starting side. So I don't know how much you can read into that. And the Dragons, very hit and miss sort of form recently. What are you tipping for this one?
Yeah, I'm going the Roosters. My missus is a big Dragons fan, so I always love to tip against them. But look, yeah, Roosters.
Hey, that's 2 roasts on the miso, and we're 5 minutes in, and she's copped it twice.
Look, I've got to find some
some
target,
strays.
you know. Yeah. But look, we got Sam Walker coming back after a long stint off. I don't know if he's going to make a huge difference. I think, it's going to take a while for him to sort of settle back in. I assume he's coming off the bench as well. So, or is he starting?
He's starting.
He's starting. Jeez. Yeah. Okay. So big task for him. But look, yeah, Roosters, very hit and miss. So the Dragons, but I think the Roosters on their day can beat anyone. So I'm going the Roosters.
Yeah, they're favoured right now. I'm finding this one a bit hard to tip because pre-Origin, you don't know if Gus Crichton's going to play. There's a few other guys that might be out as well. I'll take the Roosters too, though. I just think the Dragons attack and missing Toby Couchman, they've been in a few shootouts recently, but they just can't contain an attack like the Roosters, especially at full strength. So I'll go the Chooks too, and we'll roll into Saturday night, and another chance for you to show that Queensland bias if you do want to. Cowboys v the Bulldogs. Cowboys big outsiders in this one, playing Ruben Cotter on the edge back row spot, which is an interesting call to say the least. Who are you tipping here?
You've called out my Queensland spirit, and I'm not a fan because, look, I'll tip the Dolphins, despite being the underdogs, but this one I'm going the Bulldogs. Look, Bulldogs, coming off a tough loss against my boys last week, the Broncos. So, look, I think I was looking there like 2 from 8 against top 8 teams. The Cowboys not being one of them, so they've famously got a pretty good record against the bottom 8. But look, yeah, I'm going the Bulldogs. Like on their day, they're so good. Like Galvin's come in and thrown a bit of a spanner in the works. They've got
it's messy, isn't it?
Marnie leaving next year. It's looking a bit shaky there, but I think if post Origin, if we see Critter come back and that, I think they'll look strong. Even away.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think the Dogs have to get it done. Big one I'm calling out for fantasy is Jacob Kraz. So he's 18th man for the Blues this week. He's been on a tear recently and just been pumping out offloads. So in fantasy, you're getting 4 points on offload because he doesn't throw them to the ground.
Yeah.
And I reckon Kraz, I know I'm tossing up like Kraz v Latrell Mitchell down the stretch. And I'm thinking, like Trell Mitchell, obviously he's not playing this week because the Bunnies have a bye. So yeah, it's a big toss up for fantasy, but I think Kraz absolutely feasts in this game and over the next month of footy, and the Dogs get the win. Now, rolling into Sunday, Warriors v Tigers here. 4th v 14th, you'd think it's pretty straightforward, but you throw in the fact that the Warriors are missing Luke Metcalf now, and the Tigers coming off a big win without most of their starting spine. Are you tipping an upset here, or are you going to New Zealand?
Mate, I like the Tigers. I really like where they're heading, especially with, Luai, and because they've had a couple of rough years, haven't they?
Yeah.
Freaking Spoon last year.
Spoons,
yeah.
Man, lads.
Look, I kind of want the Tigers to do well, but I also like the Wires as well. So I'm going on the Wires this week. But if I'm picking my teams, Broncos, Dolphins, I reckon Tigers are third.
Yeah. I love the Tigers too. My whole family go for the Tigers.
Yeah.
I was a Magpies fan back in the day before they merged when I was 5 years old. And Dad didn't get me a Tigers jersey, and the Eels came to our school, so I became an Eels fan. So
you missed out on the 05 premiership. The Eels, you're still waiting.
Well, Eels were minor premiers that year, and we lost to the Cowboys in the semis 29.
No one remembers the minor premiers.
Dad bought me a minor premiers shirt to rub it in.
Yeah?
Bloody 10 years old and I'm getting roasted already. But yeah, still got that shirt somewhere. Definitely doesn't fit.
Nice.
I'll go the Warriors too, though, I think. Like, just the forward pack is too strong. I think with Tanner Boyd coming in, there's going to be a bit of growing pains there, but through the middle, they're just going to be so strong with Fisher Harris and Aaron Clark in sensational form right now as well. I think Clark might grab a try too. He's been killing it for fantasy owners, and this might be the week where he cracks one.
Yep.
Then Parramatta v the Panthers. So 4 p.m. game. And look, Eels v Panthers last time was a good battle, but the Panthers got up. It's 6th v 15th now. So the Panthers have risen right up the ladder, which no one wants to see, especially me. I absolutely hate the Panthers.
Look,
passion.
At the start of the season, I was very happy to see them on the bottom.
Yeah.
Now I'm very concerned, given, this is what they do, right? They make the finals and they just play these games so easily and so well. And then obviously they win grand finals. So it makes me concerned that they're going to do it again this year. I'm holding on to hope that this year we've got like a bit more of a gritty, hardworking team, like, the Raiders or, even the Bulldogs or the Warriors that are up there, but they're looking good now.
Yeah.
So I, have to do this to you. So I'm picking the Panthers this week. Look, I don't think I can pick Para in any game at this stage of the season. So
you come into my house.
yeah. Look, and I know we're in Parramatta right now. I don't know if I'm giving away your location there, but
I share it.
yeah, fair enough. Look, it's can't pick against the.
Yep.
Oh, sorry, I can pick against the Panthers, but I can't pick the Eels. So that's my final verdict.
So you come in here and you tip Queensland, and then you go on your Queensland bias, talk about the Spirit, then you roast Parramatta. Like, I don't know if I'm going to post this.
Come on, you got Queensland fans. This is what they want to hear. They want to hear, just Eels.
I reckon
Eels
I've scared them off, man. Like,
yeah, probably.
Because my co-host Beers is an Eels fan as well.
Oh
so
yeah, okay. So
we met through the Eels actually 10 years ago.
There you go. Yeah. What a sad friendship.
Yeah. No, we haven't had a lot of wins, but it's forged strong.
So what are we talking? Are we talking 40 plus years, 50 plus years?
I'm 31 today, and I haven't seen a premiership.
Yeah,
so 86.
86,
which
is
so about 40 years ago.
40 years,
yeah.
Far out.
But
the good old
the Misso
days.
knows I'm loyal. She
that's a good indication. That's a green flag. Nice.
And I've convinced her to swap to the Eels as well from the Tigers. So
really,
she's moved from cellar dwellers to cellar dwellers, which is an exciting jump.
Yeah, exactly.
Could swap to anyone else.
Couldn't get any worse. So
yeah, but I'll back the Parramatta Eels in this one. So nice. we had a fun little podcast on Talking Para last night. Do you remember Chris Ninu?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
We were chatting to
the
Inu.
Smiling assassin.
Yeah. He still has the same smile. He's assistant
nice.
coach at Salford Red Devils in the UK now.
Oh, sick.
They interviewed him last night. Anyway, heading to a box with the Talking Para boys on the weekend. It's a Para Leagues.
How good?
Up. Yeah, mate. So a couple of boxes in a week.
I loved him. Was it the 09 grand final?
Yeah.
He was just, or like the lead up to that in the finals run, he was absolutely on a tear.
Oh yeah,
with the mouth guard with the fangs.
Yeah.
God, I loved him, dude.
Yeah, 2007, 2010, like that period.
Yeah, those were the golden days for your lifetime at least.
Yeah, when Hayne came in at that point too, and we had a mean roster. Yeah, but we couldn't get it done. I think we did win the comp, by the way, 2009. I'm just putting that on record. Yeah, the Storm were cheating.
How does that work?
They were disqualified. They were disqualified by the other grand finalists.
Yeah,
I counted as a premiership.
Well, they stripped them, but I don't think they gave it to you guys. So
you know what's funny though? We were cheating the cap in the nines, like a number of years later, and they awarded the title to the runners-up, like officially. But then for us in 09, they didn't award it to us.
How do you cheat the cap in the nines?
We were just cheating the cap, and the one thing we won was the nines.
Oh, right. I see. I thought like there's a
we didn't bring a bunch of nines. Sevens players.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so we're hard done by. But I'll back Parramatta to win this one. I think we get up. I got to back us. I'll be there cheering for us. It's at Parramatta. We'll have a good crowd. It's going to be a tough matchup, but hopefully a few Panthers players don't back up. Saying that, I'm buying Isaiah Yeo in fantasy this week. So
nice. Is that at CommBank?
Yeah,
nice. We're actually driving it because I don't know Sydney all that well, but we were driving. An Uber driver was saying, "Mate,
kilometre away."
That's the best stadium in Sydney." And he was like, "It's no Suncorp, but it's the best rectangular stadium we got here." So I'm like,
no Suncorp. You have to sneak that in again.
I mean, you can't beat it. Like it's in the center of the city. You got Caxton Street. Like anyone who's been to Magic Round or any Queenslander knows, it trumps all.
Look, I was there. I can't argue with that. It's a fantastic setup, and the Caxton Street Brewery. We did an event there. Love them.
Yeah,
Love
it's
them.
incredible.
Great space. Yeah.
And like, because we're going to a core tonight, obviously, a little bit out of the, depending where you live, but pain in the ass to get to.
Yeah, kind of in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
No, I get that. Whereas, Caxton Street's right in the middle of it. Now, let's turn to this last game. We got Queensland bias going on here. So, Titans v Broncos.
Yeah, look.
You know which way you're going.
Big brother versus little brother, eh?
Oh, yeah.
Look, this is an easy one for me. Obviously, the Broncos. Titans look just like a bit of a mess at the moment.
When are they going to get it right?
I just think they're comfortable being mediocre.
You're from Queensland. What's wrong with the Gold Coast? Because like Redcliffe, I feel like they've got a bunch of diehard fans. Gold Coast is big,
mate. Gold Coast is a whole nother place. Like you enter the Gold Coast and they're a different breed there. Like you meet Titans fans and they definitely do exist and they're passionate, but like they just don't seem to have the passion for their clubs. It's the same with the Gold Coast Suns as well. But look, they got such good players. Like Dave Fafita's coming back this week. Obviously Tino's a beast. Like if they can hold on to him for a few more years, like they can build something around him and Fafita. But look, I don't know what's going on. I think Desi's kind of, lost his magic a little bit.
I mean, they're in trouble. Keanu Keeney's been out for a while as well, and he's so dynamic. Anyway, I'm going to go the Broncos too.
Yeah.
I think you got to back the Broncos in. Sunday game, so it's enough time that Payne Haas probably backs up, I would say. Carrigan probably backs up. Reece Walsh, 18th man, he'll back up.
Hey, the Broncos are full of superstars, aren't they?
Yeah, well, when you're a one city
Yeah.
team for bloody 30 years, it's
Yeah,
a bit of an
exactly.
unfair advantage, I would say.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas in Parramatta here, you drive 20 minutes down the road and you've got another team.
Well, that's the beauty of living in Brisbane. You didn't really have much choice
Yeah.
up until the Dolphins were there, so makes it easy. But yeah, I'm picking the Bronx. We got Hunt coming back. I think Billy Walters has been on a tear recently, like coming off the bench, so he's looking good. And I just like Billy Walters. Seems like a good guy,
Hunt at hooker though, like that's exciting because he played a stint there. He played about 12 games there in 2020, and he was pretty fantastic, and he kills it there in Origin.
Yeah.
Too. Do you think that translates to club footy?
Oh mate, I just think Hunt's a baller.
Yeah,
like he can kind of play anywhere. Like
That's a good
he's shown it on the big stage. So I think he's more than likely to do it for the Bronx as well. So and he's getting up there. He's got the experience under the belt. So I have no doubt he'll kill it.
Yeah. We'll see how he handles that middle defense. But he's got a lot of support. Payne Haas, Pat Carrigan.
Yeah.
Like, that's as good as
it's good
it
pack
gets.
to be behind. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not bad. Now, mate, I know you wanted to get through some questions to me because I'm the footy guy, right?
Yeah.
You're the crypto guy. And guys, this show every week has been brought to us by SwiftX too. So they've supported us all the way through. So I wanted to give you a chance, Ted, to fire some questions at me now, and we'll turn the tables here.
Mate, this is probably where your majority audience clocks off. They're like, oh, they hit crypto. They don't want to know about it. But let's hit you with some questions. So, do you know who invented Bitcoin?
Oh no, I don't.
Okay,
I'm gonna. Do you want to guess?
No, because no one does.
Okay.
I mean, it was invented by a person called, or a group of people called Satoshi Nakamoto, but it's just an
that would be
alias.
my guess.
Yeah, of course. That was obviously.
Didn't they make Nintendo too?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, but no one knows who he is. There's been a lot of speculation. I think some Australian dude tried to claim that he was Satoshi Nakamoto, only to be proven wrong. But look, yeah. So I think that's part of the mystery and charm of Bitcoin is like it was created by who knows, and it's controlled by a broad network of people and computers and stuff like that. So it's not like one singular entity, like like a bank that gets to decide where it goes, or what they can freeze your funds or anything like that. So that's the beauty of it. It's fully decentralized, and I think like from a Bitcoin perspective, it was if you went back 10 years, like most people would think, oh, isn't that what you used to buy drugs on the dark net? But now it's become so much more mature, particularly as institutions adopt it, and we're seeing the US government start to adopt it, so it's really hitting that like maturity that we want to see. And
it was being used for transactions back then, though. There
of
was
course,
that guy who spent 10,000 bitcoins to buy a pizza.
Yeah, he was the first one.
Yeah,
everyone talks about him
seething now. I'm sure.
No, because everyone talks about him and like, oh, he'd be so gutted. Like he spent 10,000. Like, and I'm always like, guys, do we really think the first person to ever make the first Bitcoin transaction? Yeah, just like said, all right, that's enough. I'm out of this. He knew a thing or two about Bitcoin, so he's doing just fine. I think he's a billionaire, so he's okay. But yeah, look. So let's ask some more questions.
Yeah. Hit me with a few trivia questions.
Okay, trivia questions.
See what I can do.
Here, I actually got some down, so let me bring them up because I've forgotten them. Okay, so what was the first ever crypto created?
It's not Bitcoin, is it?
It is Bitcoin.
It is? Oh, okay. All right, great.
So you're 0 from 2. When was Bitcoin created?
2006.
Close. 2009, I think we.
Oh, great year. Great
year. What is the second biggest cryptocurrency on the market right now?
It is. I know it. I can't remember. I'm going to say Ripple, and I'm wrong.
Oh, you're not far off. I think that's sitting at 3 or 4. It's Ethereum.
Ethereum. That's it.
You heard of that one?
Yeah.
Okay. Who was the person who initially was behind like the big pump of Dogecoin?
Oh, wasn't it? No, it wasn't like Robin Hood. It was it Elon Musk when he did that tweet?
Yeah, spot on. Yeah. So if you look back at like Dogecoin's price, it just had these huge jumps that very much aligned with Elon's Twitter. Mate, at least we'll finish on a high because I think you're 1 from 4.
I don't know. I think that Bitcoin one counts. But cheers for jumping on, man. Last thing from you, just because obviously you guys have been supporting the channel all year, so I want to make sure your message gets across too. Is there anything you want people to know about your platform? Anyone who's not in the crypto space, they should know what you guys do.
Yeah, I mean, SwiftX, we're an Aussie-based crypto exchange, so I think a lot of people, that are listening may have invested in crypto maybe 3 to 4 years ago, and then before we had that big downturn, like, I know a lot of people personally, got burnt by that, but now as the industry matures, like it's seen as a lot more. People are looking to diversify into Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, and SwiftX, we make it very easy for that. So if you're just starting out in crypto and you want to diversify your portfolio into some digital assets, SwiftX is your go-to. We're the second biggest exchange in Australia. We list over 440 assets, so you got plenty of options there. And then we provide a lot of educational material as well. If you're just starting out and you don't really know how to start, then we're happy to provide that for you and even get on the phone and talk you through some things. So we might, if it's okay, we might chuck a link in the show notes where people can claim some free Bitcoin to get them started. And then it's as quick as a couple of minutes before you get started. Deposit your money and then you can start investing. But
awesome.
We always recommend doing the relevant education and research before you get into a new asset class like this. So thank you so much for having me on. Really appreciate you giving me the spotlight, and I hope I didn't bore your audience too much with the crypto stuff.
Look, if they weren't interested, they jumped off. So anyone who's here now is the true diehards.
And I don't blame them.
But cheers for jumping on, Ted.